All right. All right, let's do this. Welcome, everyone. This is the DC Incentives Podcast, and this is another edition, y'all. And we have a special guest here. And, it's all about the trademarks, the patent, the copyright. And she's the one that's here to get your business protected. And it's going to be a lot of gems in this episode. So, the foremost ado, please introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. Good day. My name is Christine Duchatelier. I am a business and trademark attorney. I work on trademarks, copyrights, contracts, LLCs, corporations, nonprofits. And I am so excited to be here on the DC Incentives podcast to drop some free game and talk to you guys about how you can protect your business.
Let's go. Okay, so give a brief bio about yourself.
Sure. My name is Christine Duchatelier. I am from New York, born in Queens, but now I am in Long Island, Elmont. I don't know if anyone watching is from Elmont, but hey. um, I went to Stony Brook for undergrad, and I went to UConn for law school. I am a lawyer. I did not start in business and entrepreneurship law. I started working in more general litigation areas of law, but I felt like I wanted to do something more and something to help people that look like me. And that's how I ended up in the business space. There are so many of us that create so many things and we don't know what steps to take in order to protect those things. And then someone comes, steals it, and they hit you with a cease and desist saying you have to stop using this brand name because it belongs to me and I have a trademark, or someone is suing you because you're using a brand name and you didn't protect it, or someone contracts with you to maybe offer some services and all of a sudden you see that they own every single thing that you created. So I'm just here to make sure that the amazing things that we create are protected and that we're able to make money off of those amazing things that we create. I started this firm back in 2000 and I formed it in 2019, excuse me. I started this business. I wasn't doing trademarks yet. I was more so doing business formations. And during the pandemic, I started filing trademarks. And I am 3 years into doing trademarks. I'm now full time with my own law firm. I left my full time job in July of last year in order to do this full time. So now I'm full time helping entrepreneurs, and I love it.
Gotcha. So walk me back to what is cease and desist.
Sure. So, cease and desist is something that it's a letter that you may receive when you are using a brand name that someone believes is too close or is exactly the same as their own brand name. So, you'll see this when, let's say, you start a clothing brand and someone else has a clothing brand with the same name. They may send you a letter saying, "Hey, this is my brand. You need to stop using it, or else I'm going to sue you." Same thing when it comes to um, copyrighted things like books. Someone might come to realize that you copied a portion of their book and put it in your own book. You might get a cease and desist for something like that. It's just notice that you're infringing on something that does not belong to you. And in that notice, they'll let you know what it is and ask you to maybe take it down or whatever they want you to do in order to avoid litigation or being sued.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. So before we talk about trademarks, patent, copyrights, you also said you do nonprofits.
Yes. So, with nonprofits, what I do is the nonprofit formation. So, I'll form the corporation, get the 501c, state tax exemption as well, bylaws, things like that, just so that you know that you have your nonprofit set up properly.
Now, when you create LLCs, nonprofits for your clients, is it just New York or is it all around the United States?
With the LLCs and the corporations, I do them in New York and in Connecticut.
Okay.
But if there are anyone is looking to have one done in another state, I can connect you with an attorney in that state. I probably know attorneys within that state. The thing that's really amazing with this um, business and entrepreneurship attorney community, especially within the Black lawyers that are in this space, we all know each other. And if I know someone who needs an LLC in Maryland, I know I can call my friend Jesse and say like, "Hey, I have this client who needs an LLC in Maryland. Can you help them?" So it's
Mm,
really, really, really great. In Arizona, I can call my friend Celicia. Celicia, there's someone who needs an LLC in Arizona. Can you help them? So it's really, really, really good that we are able to build this close knit community and are able to help each other out and help more entrepreneurs in that way. But me, I focus on New York and Connecticut solely when it comes to the business formations.
gotcha. Okay, that's good. That's good. This is good. Okay, so more about your business. So, what made you become a lawyer?
That's a good question. What made me become a lawyer is when I was growing up, they would always say I love to argue and you should be a lawyer. But also in high school, that's usually what it is. That's usually how it starts.
So I usually like, yeah, I'm ready for a debate. Let's do this. Okay.
Yes. And when I was in high school, I remember we had in one of my English classes, we had to do a debate. And I said, this is really cool. I want to do this. And that's when I said, I'll just go and be a lawyer. And if I say I'm going to do something, I just do it no matter what happens. If I hate it, if I don't want to do it anymore, I still do it just to say, all right, I checked that box off. So um, I went to undergrad and then I went to law school right after and I became a lawyer. That's how it happened. Then when I became a lawyer, I was like, okay, now I have this law degree. What am I going to do with it? Because some people they know very early, I want to go to law school because I want to become, for example, a public defender. I want to help people who can't hire an attorney and who maybe won't get a good attorney. So I want to be that good attorney and work for them. Or some people might say, I love the environment and I want to influence policy with regards to the environment. Some people knew. I had no idea. I just knew I was going to be a lawyer. I didn't know what I was going to do. But um, as I started working and started meeting different people, meeting other attorneys, and seeing what I liked, what I didn't like, that's what kind of landed me in this space working with entrepreneurs and helping them protect their brands and their intellectual property.
What advice would you give for future lawyers that's in high school or college or reaching, their goal to be a lawyer?
My advice to them would be when it comes to undergrad, if you know for sure you're going to law school, you don't need to kill yourself in undergrad. Everyone's going to law school with a political science degree, with an English degree. Um, but you can study something that you like. Whatever major you decide doesn't matter when it comes to applying to law school. Um, you can major in anything. You can major in Spanish. Doesn't matter. As long as you have that bachelor's, you can go to law school. Number two, work with, try to get some sort of internship or some sort of um, mentorship with an attorney just so that you see what the day to day is and you can decide if you like it. I've heard from people that thought they wanted to be doctors or dentists, and then they would go to the doctor's office and see all the blood, and they're like, "Ooh, I can't do this." Um, the same thing goes with being a lawyer. You might see that this person works in, I don't know, family law, and you don't like the emotional piece of it, or you don't like the the pettiness or the other things that kind of come into play in certain areas of law. So you want to definitely try to experience that, experience different areas, talk to different people. If you are someone of color and maybe you don't know a lawyer, there are so many organizations within New York with attorneys that look like us who will be willing to mentor you, who will be willing to speak to you, who will be willing to tell you these are the steps that you need to take. I had that. I had an attorney that I met when I was in high school who was able to tell me, okay, you want to be a lawyer? You have to go to college first. You have to graduate. This is the test that you need to take, and that's it. Let me see your your letter that you want to write to apply for law school. Okay, that's good. Take this out. Add this. He gave me an internship while I was in college, so I was working for his office, and I'll shout him out. Shout out to Carrier Solage. But I had an internship at his office. I would leave Stony Brook, take the LIRR to Mineola, intern for him, got so much experience in the criminal space, in real estate, and immigration, and everything. Because he did a lot of different things within the community. So I was able to get that experience and say, this is something that I do want to do. So let me continue on this path. Find those people. They're here. They might be in your church. They might be a part of an organization. Like I know there are many organizations that are big in the New York City area. You have the Divine Nine organizations that I'm sure they have lawyers within their membership, or they know someone who is a lawyer as well that they can connect you to. And these organizations are very active within our communities. So um, definitely connect with people that are in the same space and learn from different attorneys. Talk to people who look like you and get as much advice as possible. You want to make sure that before you spend all that time doing it, that is something that you want to do.
Mm, okay. Okay. So for future, not future, for entrepreneurs,
Hmm.
what advice would you give for them when starting a business, or they want to learn to grow their business?
Okay, that's a good one. So I'm still learning too. I am. I'm a new entrepreneur. I started in 2019. I didn't really start building or growing the business until late 2020, early 2021. Um, and I didn't go full time with the business until summer of 2022. So I'm still growing, I'm still learning. But what I would say is it is hard work. People think that being your own boss is amazing and you can do whatever you want, but you work even harder. When you go to work, you clock in at 9 or at 8, you leave at 5 or 6, and that's it. You just, all right, I'm done for the day, clock in, clock out. But when you are working for yourself, you have to motivate yourself and say, you know what? Let me wake up, let me start my day. Don't stay in bed and wake up at 12 because you're your own boss and you can do that. No, because now you're not going to make any money. The money is out there, you just have to go and get it. So you have to wake up early to go and get the money. You have to stay consistent on social media. You have to stay consistent with contacting your mailing list. You have to network anywhere you go. You're telling people about what you do. You're sitting at a bar, you're by yourself, and someone comes up and maybe they interact with you. You say, like, oh, what's your name? What do you do? Oh, this is what I do. If you know anyone, put them in touch with me and I can help them out. That is literally the best way to build and to grow your business. And also, the first thing that I said, remembering that being your own boss also comes with its own responsibilities, and you have to be disciplined in that. You have to wake up, you have to work, you have to work more than before. And you also have to learn how to delegate. There are certain things that you may not have time um, to do, or it may not be worth your time to do, but you can give it to someone else to do so that you can focus on bringing in more money, bringing in more clients, bringing in more contracts, things like that. There was something else, but I don't know why it like escaped my mind just now. But um, let me see. Oh, that was it. Make sure when you start, you keep your expenses low. You don't need a new laptop. Your laptop works just fine. You don't need a new monitor. You don't need the highest, the most expensive platform to do your mailings. You don't need all of those things. Drive to the post office and mail the things out. You don't need the label maker yet. Um, it it's like sometimes we spend so much money and you haven't made anything yet. So you have to really sit there and set milestones. When I make this much money, then I will purchase this. When I make that much money, then I will purchase that. When I'm getting this many clients a month for my hair styling business, then I will get a second business line. Because we all just kind of try to spend so that we look like we're doing a good job and we're amazing. We're running all of the business. We're running our business efficiently, and we're doing all of these things. But you don't really need to do all of that so early on.
Let's
Start and
go.
keep your expenses low. You might not need the office. I don't have an office. I don't have a physical office, I should say. I have a virtual address. I don't need to rent an office, because most of my clients, I speak to them on Zoom, I speak to them on the phone, and they don't need to come into the office to see me at all for anything that I do.
Mm.
My clients are all over. I work in trademarks, so my clients are all over the country. They're in Milwaukee, they're in New York, they're in Florida, they're in Texas. So no one's coming to see me in my office. I can work from home and I can have a virtual address so that it looks nice and professional. And there aren't any issues on that front. So keep your expenses as low as possible, as low as possible.
Let's go. Let's go. And by the way, when she's talking about virtual address, that it's in another episode. I don't remember what episode it was, but definitely we talked about, like, how to, get a virtual address and everything else. So yeah, that's a lot of gems what Christine just dropped just now. Once you get, by the way, yeah, she does LLCs and nonprofits. How can they contact? Even though this is the ending, how can they contact you? How can they be a client? How can they, get in touch with you?
Sure. So the best way to contact me is on Instagram, Christine the Lawyer, ChristinaTheLaWyer. That is the best way to reach me. Send me a DM. You can also email me, Christine, Christine, at D as in dog, U as in umbrella, C as in cat, H-law.com. That is my email. That is my Instagram. You can find me there and shoot me a message, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. If you have any questions, shoot me the question. And if I can answer it, I'll answer the question as well.
Let's go. Let's go. All right. Now let's get to this now. Okay.
Okay.
Trademarks. Let's get it now. I hope my audience is ready for the gems. I hope y'all ready for the gems. Let's get it. Let's go. All right. So trademarks, patent, copyright. Let's what are the difference between those three?
Really good question. So, they protect different things, and sometimes you may need all of them or a combination of them in order to protect what you're protecting. So, a trademark is they're my favorite, first of all, but a trademark protects a source identifier. So, when you think of and we like to say source identifier because trademarks identify or let you know where something came from. So when you look at a bottle of water, you see a brand name written across the front of it, that means something to you. That you see the brand, you might say, I don't like how this water tastes, or I like this water, I'm going to buy it. Or I see that, like, Christine drinks this water, and Christine, she has really good taste in water, so I'm going to drink that water too. That's where the kind of influencer part comes in with trademarks. So when you see a brand, it tells you something about the brand. You might even say this company, they stand for X, Y, and Z, and I don't agree with their position on this, so I'm not going to support that brand. Brands are so important and so powerful. They tell us so much, and that's why they're so important to protect. Now, a trademark can be the brand name, it can be the logo, it can be a slogan, it can be a color, it can even sometimes be the design of something that can be protected with the trademark. Smells, there are some smells that are protected by trademark, like the smell of Play-Doh. Um, Sounds that can be protected by trademark. For example, the
Sounds.
dun dun in Law and Order, that's protected by a trademark. So there are so
Sounds.
many things. Sounds can be protected by a trademark. So there are so many things that you can protect with trademark, because when you hear them, when you see them, when you smell them, you know this is this brand.
Mm.
And that is what a trademark is. That is exactly what a trademark is. Now, copyright protects creative works. And when we say creative works, we mean things like books, lyrics, music, paintings, photos. If you have a course, the videos for those courses, websites, things like that. Logos can sometimes be protected by copyright, but it's more so it more so depends on how creative or how unique that logo design is. You can't just have some words and then say I want to copyright my logo, and it's just some words. That won't work. um, Now, what copyright protects is people copying those works without your permission. So you have a poem that you wrote, and you see someone publish it in a book without your permission. That can be considered infringement of your copyright. When it comes to patents, now, patents are patents protect inventions. And I don't practice in patents because in order to do patents, you have to have a science degree.
Mm.
And I know this is random and TMI, but you have to have a science degree, and you have to take a separate patent bar. So there are many attorneys that don't do patents at all. We just do trademarks and copyrights. And there are attorneys that have that background that actually do patents. They protect inventions. Um, and I know we invent a lot of different things. So if you have something that is new that you've invented, you can definitely talk to someone about protecting that with a patent. And that patent attorney can be in any state. They don't have to be in New York, because patents are federal. Um, Now, how can you have something that is covered by all of these things? So you have an invention. The invention has a brand with it. So let's say you invented some special, I don't know, a staple remover that is automatic. So it's not manual. You just, I don't know, you put it on there and it removes the stapler. And you invented it. No one else has done this before. You get a patent. Now you're selling that staple remover under a brand name. That's protected by trademark. Now you
Mm.
have a website um, for selling this particular thing, this particular staple remover. That website can be protected by copyright. So a lot of the times we need multiple forms of IP protection for the same thing, but they just protect different aspects of that particular item, whatever it may be.
Mm.
Same thing with a book. That's another example I can give. Um, you have a book series, so multiple books, not just one. And each book you protect with copyright. And the book series title, like Harry Potter, for example, that is something that you protect with a trademark, because when you see that book series title, you know where that book came from. It's different from when you just have one book, it's just one book.
What about like ebooks, or when they have their own scripts, like a director has his own script or something like that? Is that copyright also?
Yes,
Okay.
those are things that you can copyright. Anything that you create, and that is what the law says fixed in a tangible medium. So when they say that, that means it's written down on paper, it's on a hard drive, it's somewhere physically. It's not just in your mind.
Mm, okay. And going back to when you said about trademarks, so so let's say the vendors that you see in the street, and they're selling incense, and they want you to smell it, or like a perfume or something. Is that a
Mhm.
trademark?
So with the scent trademarks, they're a lot more. It's a lot more difficult to get.
Okay.
It's a lot more difficult to get, but with the brand name for the incense, if they, I don't know, let's say they call it Christine incense, they can protect that with a trademark.
Gotcha. Okay. So for so smells, names, slogans, and sounds, like sounds like
Yes.
music, that can all be trademark.
Sounds that identify where something came, that identify the source of something. So when you hear the Law and Order sound, you know that
Yes.
you're watching Law and Order.
Watch Law and
Um,
Order. Gotcha.
I'm
Okay.
a I'm a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and our call is something that's trademarked. When you hear it, you know what it is, what this is about. So, um, so essentially, that's when it comes to trademark. Whatever it is that is being protected, it identifies where whatever it is comes from. Tells you something about that brand. Tells you something about the company, the organization, etc.
So let's say if I form, like, I come to you, organization, and I get a nonprofit organization. Of course, you set that up. Once that's completed, and then I'll be like, okay, my organization is gonna have a sound saying "hoorah," and then when it says "hoorah," can I get a trademark for that?
Their sounds and smells are difficult. The more common ones, that sounds and smells are difficult. They are difficult. They are difficult, but as far as the brand name itself, it is easier to protect that.
Gotcha. Okay. So, and when we go through all of this, what is it, like a trademark office, or like what's the federal government, what is it, what we have to, like, what do we go through with this to actually make it official?
When it comes to trademarks, you're dealing with the United States Patent and Trademark Office, also known as the USPTO, and
Okay.
they deal in trademarks and patents. Copyright is a separate organization, and that is the United States Copyright Office. But patents and trademarks are with the USPTO. You go through them in order to get your trademark certificates and your trademark registrations.
Gotcha. So, and for the copyright, when it's
Mhm.
different. So you say it's like a different agency or organization? Say that again.
Yeah, so it's different from the USPTO. The USPTO only deals with the copyrights and the trademarks and
Yeah.
the, sorry, copyrights and trademarks. I messed up. The USPTO deals with patents and trademarks only, and the
Yeah.
Copyright Office deals with copyrights.
Gotcha. So it's just copyright office. Like, that's it.
Let me get the full name of it.
Okay. This so as
It's
so
just the United
we
States Copyright Office. I was right. Okay. I wanted to make sure I wasn't saying the wrong thing. But yeah, the United States
Okay.
Copyright Office, copyright.gov, they'll get you to their website.
Gotcha. Okay. So once they get to the United States Copyright Office, and uh, you're, let's say, like, they come to you, hey, I have a book, and I need it copyrighted. I just invented and everything, blah, blah, blah. Now what? Of course, they pay you to be a client. Now what?
Then I prepare the application with the US Copyright Office and file it on their website. When you file it on their website, they review the application, make sure that everything makes sense, make sure that the what we're trying to protect with a copyright is actually protectable by copyright, is unique, is creative, etc. And once they've verified all of that, they mail over a copyright certificate.
And how long does it take?
The copyright process is not too long. Let me see. The last one I did took about maybe 6 weeks.
Really? 6 weeks?
Yeah, not to, the trademark process is a lot longer.
God, so trademark and patents, how long does that take?
I'm not sure with patents, but as far as the trademark process, now it's about uh, closer to 18 months, 12 to 18 months,
Wow, why that
a year
long?
and a half.
Wow.
They are, I know, there are so many applications with their
Hmm.
office that they're taking a lot longer to review them. So when I started doing trademark work, what used to take 3 months is now taking 10 months. And that's
Gotcha.
the initial review. So it takes 10 months for them to even look at the trademark application. I started getting feedback on applications that I filed in I want to say February of last year, January and February of last year. I started getting
Mhm.
some movement on them this month. So it is taking a long time in order for them to get moving on those applications.
Now, is that because of COVID?
Part of it is because of COVID. A lot of people since COVID have applied for trademarks because they've started their own businesses, or maybe they learned more about trademarks and applying for trademarks. They learned about protecting their brands. So many, many more people are filing applications on the trademark website.
Gotcha. Okay, so that, wow. So COVID changed the game to
A
like
lot of
almost
people started
everything.
businesses during COVID.
Yes, that's a fact. Yes, absolutely. And so now that it takes a longer process, so for trademarks, when, of course, the same process, I think the same process is for a client, everything. Now when that goes on, now what, like, after you get to the USPTO office and everything, now what's the process?
So when it gets to the USPTO, about 8 to 10 months after you file the application, what happens is the application is assigned to an attorney at the USPTO to review the application. They review your application to see a few things: whether it is something that you can protect with a trademark. So, is it something that's generic that can't be protected, for example? They look to see whether there are other brands that are too close or identical to your brand, which would be a barrier to registration. And they also look to make sure that the proof that you submitted is correct. If you submitted proof, they look to see if, um, let's see, what are other things they look for? They look to see if the description that you're providing for the services
Hmm.
or for the products is correct, or if there are any issues with that. They look
Hmm.
to see if you need to do what's called a disclaimer for anything. So let's say I have a clothing store and I called it Christine's Store. The word store, since it is generic for selling clothing or for a store, I would have to do a disclaimer or say to the trademark office, I'm not saying I have exclusive rights to the word store. So they're looking to see if there are any of these things that need to be looked at, or need to be corrected, I should say, in order for your application to move forward. Now, if there are no issues, or if the issues that are with the application are able to be corrected, what happens next is you go to what's called publication. Now, publication with the trademark office is a 30-day period where they publish notice of your trademark application in the Trademark Official Gazette. And during that 30-day period, there might be a bigger brand that, or another brand, I should say, not a bigger brand, another brand out there who thinks that if your brand is registered, then they will lose money or it will infringe on their brand, something along those lines. So they have that 30-day period to let the trademark office know of that. Um, Now, if there are no issues, no one opposes the application, what happens next is you get your trademark certificate. So, really, the real work in the trademark application is in making sure that the application is prepared correctly. And also, if there are any issues with the trademark application, being able to resolve those issues with the trademark office directly.
All right, so I didn't want it to cut you off, but I feel like we're missing steps. Hold on. So I just wanted to be
Ah,
clear. Like I wanted to be very clear. Like let's make it
yeah.
very clear for the people that's watching this. So now that we, I have this business, or it don't even have to be a business. It can just be me as an individual.
Okay.
Um, so now that I have this quote, or this business or storefront or something, or a name.
Mhm.
Now I want to protect it. What Now that I come to you, what class am I going to? Now that when I'm come to you as a lawyer, what class am I going to? Because I know there's like
Okay.
a list of classes. I
Yes.
I know
Okay.
that. Yeah,
Yes, of course. So, I misunderstood the question. I thought you were asking me when it's filed, what happens at the trademark office
gotcha.
from when the
Yes, yes.
application is filed.
Absolutely. So
Okay,
what's
so
the step by step I'm sorry, what's the step by step process of everything when it comes to the trademark?
okay,
Everything.
no problem. So in the beginning, what happens is you speak to, well, my process, I should say, because I don't know everyone's process. The first thing that happens is I don't. But the first thing that happens when you speak to me is I ask you about what you're doing, if you have any other plans for the business in the future, if you plan on selling or offering any other services in the future, etc. Um, and do you hear any noise in my background, or are we good?
We're good.
You're good? Okay, cool. Just making sure. All right. So what happens next is after I speak to you and get an idea of what you're working on, what you need to do, what you plan to do, what I do next is I prepare a search memo looking to see if there are any brands out there that have anything that is um just give me 1 second. Sorry.
All right. So while she um on that, I hope y'all getting a little, the gems and everything for what she's talking about, trademark patents and copyright. I said she is definitely a lawyer, so definitely to her and everything. Well, like I said, y'all, this is another edition um of the DC Incentives podcast. So yeah, we'll just wait until she comes back. All right, let's get it. Okay,
Okay, sorry about that.
let's go. Let's go.
Mm,
Come on,
no problem. We still
we
we
got
gonna
this.
keep
Let's
going.
go.
Don't worry. Okay, I'll start over from the beginning of everything with regards to the process. So the first thing in my process is the call where I speak to the client about what they're doing, if there's anything that they plan to add as far as services and products in the future, just so that when I am doing the next steps, that everything is included and everything is factored in. So once we get off of that call, I do a search. and I search the trademark office's website, I search the internet, I search everywhere, just to make sure that what you are trying to do, what you are trying to protect, is protectable, and also to see who else is out there. You might see that there are a bunch of brands out there that maybe they don't have trademark registrations, but they're out there. And you might decide at that point, there are too many people with the same brand name. So, you know what? Let me just try to do something else instead, because I don't want people looking through 100 different I don't know, let me see, glamorous boutiques
Mm-hmm.
for my glamorous boutique, because it is such a popular or common name. I'd rather come up with something else. And I don't know anyone with a store called Glamorous Boutique. I just made it up because I know a lot of
I gotta be
I just
trademarked.
made it up.
Be...
I'm not talking to anybody specifically. I'm sorry if anyone feels like I'm talking about them, but there are a lot of names that you see when it comes to like clothing stores that are targeted towards women. They have a lot of similar names. So you don't want to, you might not want to be in a situation where somebody has to go to page 5 to look for your particular brand name or your particular store. You want to come up with something unique. So that is the purpose of the search. Also, as part of the search, I put together a description for the class, which is something you talked about, and I'll go into a little bit what a class is.
Mm-hmm.
A class for the trademark is a category of product or services. So
Gotcha.
there are several classes, and they all, different things fall into each class. For example, cosmetics or shampoo falls into class 3. If you have educational or entertainment services, so you have a podcast or you're a coach or you're a singer and you're offering singing services, you're a speaker, you offer public speaking services, those all fall under class 41. Let's say
Mm-hmm.
you're into marketing or bookkeeping, things like that, or online retail services, they all fall under class 35. If you have a spa or a hair salon, that falls under class 44. So there are so many different categories out there that cover different things, and you want to make sure that as you are filing an application, that you put yourself in the right category, because putting yourself in the wrong category can be one of those mistakes that you can't fix depending on how it's done, and you may need to start all over with the application. So we put together the class description. We put together, yeah, I'll get into that later.
That
I'll get into
sounds
that later.
so heartbreaking.
I I've seen it happen. I've seen it
It's
happen.
so
I've
heartbreaking.
seen it
Okay.
happen. It is. It is. But you just don't know. There's certain things I don't know how to do, and I try not to do them.
Mm.
And sometimes we try to DIY, and because we think we can do it or we want to save, but in the end, you end up spending a lot more time. You spend more money because you need to fix something that was an innocent mistake, and the office is just saying, we don't care if it was an innocent mistake. You got to file a new application. Um, so back to the search, and I'll write that down so we can get into that. I'll write it down. Don't worry.
That is like a hard truth bar, what you just said. That was a hard truth gem. Like, wow. Like, that's like the federal government saying, like, listen, it is what it is. You're going to have to do a new one. Like, take the
You're gonna
L.
have to do a new one. Exactly, and
Mm.
it happens a lot. Um, so once that search is done, the memo is done, I look to see if there's anything out there, give my opinion, I send it over to the client. The client approves or approves what I put in what I put in the search memo, I should say. And if they're okay with everything, I go on and prepare and file the application. Now, as part of that process of filing the application, if you have a website, I'm looking at your website to see if there's anything I can use on the website. If there's something that we need to fix, we'll fix it. If there's something else that I need, maybe it's a picture of a product, I'll text you and say, or email you and say, I need a picture of the shampoo bottle with this particular logo on it, and you'll send it to me. Um, and then I prepare and file the application. Now, once that application is filed, it takes about 8 to 10, now it's closer to 10 months, honestly, for them
Mm.
to review the application for any issues. And if there are no issues, you move on to publication, which is that 30-day period where if there are any people out there who believe that your brand is infringing on theirs, they can let the trademark office know of that. And that starts the whole process. Um, but if there is no one that does that during the publication period, what happens next is you get your trademark certificate a few months after that. It's about 11 weeks from the publication when you get the trademark certificate. So once you get over those two hurdles, the initial, we're reviewing your application for any issues, and the publication hurdle, then it's very likely that you'll just get your trademark certificate.
Now, what happens if there's any like there's issues like there's some back and forth to it?
Sure. So at the initial examination, if there's any back and forth, what happens at that point is it depends on what the issue is. So if it is an issue of, let's say there's another brand that's too close to your brand, you can look and see if there's anything you can do with your description to limit it. For example, I had one recently where the brands were very close, but one was for patio furniture, and my client was for, let me see, she had bedding, pillows, home decor type items in there. So what we did was, when we got that from the trademark office saying that these two are too close and they, you know, um, we're rejecting the application right now. What we did was we took out things that could be related to patio furniture. So we took out pillows and we kept the other pieces of the application in there so that the application could move forward. Because the other application, when I looked at it, I said they only have patio furniture. They're not doing candles or any other thing. So let's just limit our application so that we can move forward. But sometimes it's not possible. Sometimes they're too similar and they're doing the exact same thing, and you can't really find a way around it. And um, you'll have to either one, submit an argument, and that's a whole legal brief with law, case law, and everything, trying to convince the trademark office to accept your trademark too. Or you can reach out to the owner of the other brand and say, I know that we're similar, but can we come to some sort of agreement where you allow me to use this brand name so that my application can move forward? So those are some of the options that you have at that point in order to resolve the issue. If you're unable to resolve the issue, what happens after that is, the trademark office, they'll reject the application and refuse the application, and then that's pretty much it.
Money loss. So what happens to your money?
Yeah,
What happens to
they
your
keep
money?
it for the application. They keep it for the application. And if you're working
Crazy.
with, if you're work, I know, if you're working with, and here's
Yo,
the thing, it
yo,
happens. Here's
this is
where it
this
really
is the United
happens.
States government. Like we can't like this is the United States of America. Like, hey,
But here's where it really happens. You have sometimes brands that have been in operation for so long that they'd rather take the risk and see if they can get the trademark before they rebrand, because a rebrand would be so expensive for them. They've been in
that's a bar.
operation for 10 years and they don't have a trademark. Everyone knows they have, 300,000 followers on Instagram and they're a big brand and they're making seven figures every year or whatever it is without a trademark. So when they try to get it, um, someone may have filed before them and maybe they don't have the budget to try to go after them if they're a newer brand or whatever it is. Um, so they say, you know what, let me try to file the application, or let me try to see if they'll withdraw their application just to see if they can get the brand. And if they don't, then they'll say, okay, let's reevaluate, let's try to rebrand, let's try to do something else. Something that I like to say about trademarks And it's going to take us on a little tangent, but a rebrand, it will cost you more than just filing the trademark in the first place. When you have to rebrand, you have to let your customers know that you have a new brand. You have old inventory that you may not be able to use. Um, you have to convince people of the brand story and the identity of the brand and the same values that your previous brand had, because your previous brand, you spent so much time building goodwill and relationships using that brand. It's hard to get people to get used to a new brand, although it is being run by the same people. So that rebrand will cost you so much more in time, in buying new inventory, in marketing, in convincing your clients, your customers, your potential clients that this is your brand. So you want to make sure as soon as you can and as early as possible, you get that trademark so that you don't run into that situation where you are spending money on that rebrand.
That's a whole gem. That's a whole ball and a gem you just dropped just now. Definitely. Okay, so when we
Yes.
get through, like, the process and the difficulties and everything, and even if we have the clarifications and everything, now when, let's say, if I have a Home Depot, I name Home Depot, and it's similar like Home Depot or Nike or something
Mm-hmm.
like that, right? But it's a different class of Home Depot or different class of Nike. Is that still battling out with those businesses?
You mean like you take the brand Home Depot and you do something completely unrelated?
Different, yes.
Okay. So with those famous brands, because they're so famous, they have a lot more protection. So it's not going to fly.
All right,
Because
so
they
all
are
right,
such well-known brands, it's not
gotcha.
gonna happen.
All right,
But if
so
it was something else,
what about small business or individual brands?
smaller brands, you'll be able to do it. So if you have like Home Depot or Dell. I saw something, I don't know where, but I saw something recently on Dell. I think it was in like a lawyer group where there was Dell seasoning, I think it was. And it had like the same writing as Dell. I didn't look in much into it, but I think there was a trademark issue with that. When it comes to big brands like Home Depot, um, if you try to have Home Depot, let me see. Um, what don't they? They're more home. They do home stuff. I'm trying to think of something random, like a piano called Home Depot. People might think that it really is from Home Depot because Home Depot is a big brand.
Hmm.
So they do get more protection for being famous brands. But if it is a smaller brand and it's completely unrelated, like you're selling chocolate and the other person is selling jewelry, then they'll go through. They'll be able to coexist and they'll both be able to get registrations.
Likewise, I don't encourage that though. My advice is I don't encourage that, but I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
um,
it happens.
yeah. But I definitely what you're definitely saying, like, but can they still let's say if you're doing something different, if this person or this business is saying like, oh, I don't care what class, I don't care what position you're in or whatever, or what you're selling, even though it's completely different or completely different class that I'm doing, you're not going to use my same name. They can do that.
They can do that. What they would do, they would probably do that in the publication period. So let's say it goes through. During the publication period, they may say, hold up, this is diluting my brand
Gotcha.
and this should not go through. I have a very famous brand and
Mm,
they are weakening my brand by selling these pianos and calling them Home
mm,
Depot.
gotcha. Okay. Now, so for patenting copyrights, what's the step-by-step process in that one?
So as far as patent, I'm not too sure because I don't do
Okay.
patents at all. But with the copyright, what we do is I have the consultation with the client. Once I have that consultation and everything's all good, I get the whatever it is that I am protecting with the copyright. So if it is a book, I ask them to send me a copy of the book so that I can upload it to the copyright website when I am filing the application. If it is a set of pictures, I ask for the files so that I can upload it. If it's an album, like a music album that needs to be protected, I'll ask for the files so that I can upload them to the copyright websites, to the copyright office's website with the application. So the application process is a little different. There isn't a search process as part of the copyright application because if you've created it um, yourself and it is yours, you can file the application for registration. The copyright office isn't looking to see if someone already, copyrighted this particular photo or whatever the case is. Like the trademark office is as part of their review process. They're looking to see that it's original. They're looking to see that it's creative, that um, it's what's the word? That it is eligible for copyright protection, and that's when they give you the copyright protection.
Gotcha. So what is it the same issues? Let's say if you run through an issue or back and forth, is it the same process as a trademark?
So it's a little different with regards to the application process itself. Sometimes they might ask for, um, like, they might not believe that something is creative enough. So that might be a little back and forth or a small issue, but it's not like with the trademark office where they're saying to you, this is confusingly similar, or um, this is blocking your application. You need to respond to this.
Mm,
The processes with both offices are different. The copyright office can contact you asking you for clarification, for more information, things like that. However,
gotcha. Okay. And is as far as like a different class too? It's I know it's different, but it's like class like this is class maybe B or class 058, something like that. The same thing as
N-
copyright or like no.
no, not with copyright. There aren't classes as far as copyright.
Gotcha. Okay. And that process is a little bit more easier because you said it takes like what is it, 3 weeks you said?
It takes about a month and a half
Gotcha.
in order for everything to go through.
Okay. And how long does this that's one thing I didn't touch on. How long once it gets registered, how long does you can get this copyright? Is it forever, 5 years, 10 years, what?
So copyright is for life plus copyright is for life plus I'm trying to remember the exact number of years. It's life plus 70 years. So
Okay.
the entire your entire life plus 70 years after
Okay.
is the amount of time that the copyright is that you have the copyright protection in that work.
Gotcha. And real quick, we didn't touch on this one. For trademark, once it's published, or registered, how long does that take?
With trademark, how long does it take or how
Once
long
it's
does it last?
registered, like once you're trademark, how long does that take?
How long does it take or how long does it last? I just want to make sure
How
I'm
long does
answering
it
the right
last?
question.
I'm sorry, last.
Okay. Okay. Just want to make
Yeah,
sure I wasn't answering about how long the
yeah.
process is. All right. Thank you for that. Um,
Okay.
the trademark lasts forever as long as you keep using it and you keep showing proof that you're using it. So, um, when you first get that registration certificate, you're first going to have to renew between 5 and 6 years after you get the trademark certificate. So let's say you got a certificate in 2023. Today's April 8th, 2023. So let's say you got your certificate April 8th, 2023. You'll have to show proof that you're still using it in between April 8th, 2028
Hmm.
through April 8th, 2029. So that's the first
Gotcha.
time you're going to show proof of use with regards to that trademark application. Then you do the same thing between year 9 and year 10. So April 8th, 2032 and 28 April 8th, 2033, right?
Okay.
And then you keep doing that every 10 years after that. So every 10 years after that, as long as you keep showing that you're using the trademark, it will continue to be registered with the trademark office. There are trademarks that have been registered for, over 100 years. So as long as you keep using it, you keep filing the paperwork saying that you're still using it, you can have that trademark forever.
And how would you know when your 5 or 6 years is up and you have to file again? How would you know?
You would know by, well, between 5 and 6 years, when it's time to file the renewal documents, the trademark office, they'll send you an email.
Mm,
Um, Actually, do they send you an email? Hmm, I'm not sure if they send you an email, but they do on the trademark office. In that, if you look at the registration, you will see maintenance, a tab that says maintenance, and that tab will tell you the dates that you need to file the maintenance documents. I'm not sure if they actually email you, but they might. It is important when you get that trademark certificate that you keep in mind and note those dates that you need to file those maintenance documents so that you can keep the trademark for as long as you need to.
gotcha. Okay. Wow. All right. It's a lot of information, y'all. So this definitely a lot of information. Um. Okay. So thank you for this. By the way, can we say
No problem.
thank you to thank you for this. And
No
okay,
problem.
so when we this because a lot of people and we wasn't taught this in school or anything, or like
No.
even if when it comes to businesses, even us as an individual, even if we don't have a business, we can still trademark and be protected if we want. um yes.
So, oh no, I didn't want to cut you off.
Okay. No, go ahead.
Yeah, and there are some people that maybe they don't have a business, but they have a brand, and they will
Hmm.
register that trademark in their own individual name. So maybe you don't have a business, but you have, or you don't have a registered business, but you have a brand that you use that you go by, or um, I don't know, maybe you're a speaker and you offer public speaking services, but you may not have an LLC. You can register that brand name in your own name. You can list yourself as an individual as the owner. So, yeah, you don't need to have an LLC or a corporation in order to file for a trademark.
Gotcha. Okay, so now, if we, what about the internationals, right? Not just the United States of America. Now, how can we protect our brand or our business or our name all around the world?
So that would be done through those countries. There's also a way to do it by filing like a Madrid, what's called a Madrid application in the US. And there are certain countries that sign on to that, but you're
Gotcha.
paying for the filing fees in each country. And if there are any issues with the application, you would have to hire an attorney in that country in order to resolve those issues as well. So it can get quite expensive. Um, some brands, it is necessary for them to go and protect in different countries as well. But some people are happy and content with just protecting it in the US. Like some people might want to do Canada as well. Some people might want to do UK. Um, but most people are good with just having, or most people are happy with just having the US registration. I don't do any
Gotcha.
international filings at all.
Gotcha. And how
And
much how much
no one's ever asked me to do them.
So what happens if a client says, "Hey, I want to protect my name or my brand international, the whole, from between like Africa, everything, Tokyo, everything."
I would explain to them that there isn't one application for the whole world, because sometimes people think that there's one application and it will protect you from,
Yeah,
uh, A to Zimbabwe. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Um, but it doesn't work that way. You have to file within the individual countries, and it can get quite expensive with filing fees and keeping track of when you need to renew, how to renew, etc. So it really depends on what the person's business goals are, and we take it from there. But once I have that conversation, usually they're just like, "Oh, I just need it here, really. I thought there was one application that would protect me internationally, but since there isn't, I'll just protect myself in the US. And if I need to file a trademark in Jamaica, or I need to file a trademark in um, China or something, I'll do that at that point."
Now, what about now for the United States? How much does the trademark cost?
The filing fee for the trademark in the US depends on the application that you use. There are two applications. One is 250 and the other one is 350. Um, the $250 application, the one that has a $250 filing fee, is a little more restricted, and you have to make sure you file it correctly, because if you don't, they'll charge you the extra $100 to fix the application. So most people tend to just go with the $350 application. Me, I go with the 350, just because I can type the description. I don't have to use their descriptions. I can type my own, and it's a lot more flexibility with that application. Um, but those are the filing fees with the trademark office. Now, when you work with someone, their fees may be different. They might have different fees in addition to the filing fees with the USPTO, but those are the USPTO fees as of today.
What about patent and copyright? How much is that?
Copyright depends on the application type that you use. There are different applications on the copyright website, but their applications are a lot cheaper, like
Okay,
65, $85. As far as patents, I'm not sure the cost of filing a patent.
gotcha. Okay. And when we talk about, the costs, and when you said for international, that can cost more than, I would say, I imagine more than 1,000, more
It
than
de-
1,000.
it depends on the country, the currency,
Gotcha.
different factors, but I
Yeah,
wouldn't even be able to guess how much the filing fees are in different countries.
gotcha. Because there's definitely, more countries, which is that would be wow. Yeah,
Mhm.
that would, yeah. Um, so one thing we didn't touch base on, that I think the audience of the podcast should know, is about when they do the processing, the scam mails that they get. Can you talk
Uh,
more about
actually,
it? Sound like
actually
you're gonna
wrote
have
that
fun with this
down.
one. You're gonna have fun
Actually,
with this one.
yeah. Yeah, I actually wrote it down. I was like, I want to make sure that I talk about it. When I say publication, I automatically think of the scam mail, because the scam mail is always about publication. It's always the same thing. They always want to publish, 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 or
Mhm.
whatever. Um, and the scam mail won't stop. You got your certificate, but the scam mail won't stop. You're gonna get it. They're gonna say you need to renew, or they're going to cancel. You're gonna get a lot of it. So sorry to let you know
Really,
that, but you will still continue to get them. Um,
even if it's published, registered, everything.
yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
So wow. So even if, like, let's say, I'm in the, say, some process, and I got a mail that says you have to pay $900 because
Mhm.
of um to get it to register quickly, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get mails like that?
Yeah, and even me, when I file my own trademark applications, I get them too.
Mm,
Um, because they just send it to everybody.
gotcha.
So when you file a trademark application with the USPTO, the information that is on that application is public. So people
Gotcha.
can access it. There are these companies that access the information and send you mail. The mail that they send you is um, it's scam mail, and they appear to be official notices saying that you need to pay X amount of money in order to get your trademark published in their private publication, and they make it seem like it's a part of the process, but when you really read the fine print, you see that they're not affiliated, it's not required, things like that. But when you just get it and you filed your application and you really want your trademark to go through, people just send the money. They don't even think twice. I know people who have paid them.
What?
Yeah, I know people who have paid them, and they, you can't get your money back. But they paid these companies thinking that it was a part of the process. Fortunately, my clients, when they see it, because they pay me to do the trademark, so and they always ask me, is this it, or am I going to have to pay anything else? And I'm like, no, you don't have to pay anything else. This is everything. This covers the trademark application process. So when they get this in the mail, they're like, you told me I don't have to pay anything else. So they know enough to say, like, you told me I don't have to pay anything else. What is this about right here? And I tell them, no, it's a scam. You don't have to worry about it. Throw it away, and you'll probably get more of this in the future. If you're not sure, send it to me, and I will tell you. And that's it.
Okay.
But they send you these notices. I had one, but I think I shredded it already. Um, but they tell you, yeah, because I got one recently. I was surprised because it was the second one that I got on this application. So before they used to only send one, and they sent it when the application was filed, right when it was filed. But now they're also sending them like after publication, during publication. And it's just, in order for you to get your registration, you need to pay $984 or whatever it is. It's just crazy. But people are afraid and they really want the trademark and they just pay it anyway. If you file a trademark application and you got anything in the mail, please, if you worked with an attorney, ask the attorney. And if you did not work with an attorney, you filed it by yourself, look at the trademark website. They have a page dedicated to these scam or misleading correspondence or letters, and they have examples. So when you go to their website, you click on, it might say, I think one of them is WTR.
Yep.
It'll have WTR on the list, and you click WTR, and they will show you what the WTR notice looks like and tell you that this is not us and this has nothing to do with us. So check the USPTO website. They have everything on the scams. There's another one where they are actually calling people now and telling them
Really?
that they need, yes, we need your social to complete the application process. We need your credit card information. If you don't pay it, then your
Mhm.
application is going to get canceled. Um, you have to pay for this, you have to pay for that. They're pressuring them to give information on the phone. And
Mhm.
the number looks like an official USPTO number because of the area code. Um, so people think that it is the USPTO calling them, but it's
Mm,
not. So the USPTO will not call you to ask you for your credit card information. Everything is processed on their website. They will not call
gotcha.
you to ask you for your social. You don't need a social to file for a trademark. They're not going to ask you for any of this information. So just be cautious when you get these calls, and don't give them any information. Ask for their information, and if you ask them for their information they don't want to give to you, then you already kind of know what that's about. But just be careful. Any documents on your trademark application will be on the USPTO website. No one's going to send you anything by email and it not be in the public record on the USPTO website as part of your application. Um, which takes me to something else that happened to a client, a potential client. She's not a client yet, but she hired someone to design a logo for her.
Okay.
And I guess that person, that company, I should say, that designed the logo, sold the information, and she started getting emails from a company saying, "Hi, we got a notice that a logo that's similar to yours was registered with the trademark office, so you need to file your trademark ASAP so that you can get a trademark and we can." Yeah. And the person fell for it. They said, "We this is how much it costs to file the trademark application." She paid them. They file the trademark application, then they start emailing her, in order to get the serial number for the application, you got to pay this much more money. In order for this to happen, you need to pay this much more money. Oh, we're going to put an attorney on your application, so we need you to pay us another $2,000. And that's when she kind of was like, hold up, this is sounding kind of fishy, and reached out to me. Um, and when you see the emails, because I asked her to forward it to me, the emails are very scammy, very, like, you can just see that these people don't know what they're talking about. You're gonna have your trademark for 10 years. You don't have it for 10 years. You have it for the first 5 years, and you have to file something at year 5, between year 5 and year 6, and then again between year 9 and year 10. There, just everything that was in it was incorrect and misleading, and like I don't know, I just don't even understand it. And the application, as of right now, still hasn't been reviewed by the trademark office, um, because I have no idea why. It's almost a year and a half now, and they haven't even looked at her application. And I almost wonder if it's because it's affiliated with this particular scam company. Um, so it's really important to just try to be careful when you are working with different companies, because you don't know what they're doing. You don't know if they're going to give your information to anyone else that will pressure you into sending money and into paying for certain things. They're saying pay for the registration certificate, and the application hasn't even been reviewed. So there, you
Mm.
haven't even gone through anything in the process. There is no certificate yet, and you're saying pay and then it's going to be approved, or um, your application has been approved by the trademark office when nothing has happened on the application yet. So you just want to
Mm.
be really careful when it comes to that. Another scam with trademarks is the domain name scam, like the website domain names. What happens is, because everything's public, they will see something that looks like it could be a cool domain name and just buy it. And when they buy it, they don't use it, they list it for sale. They list it for sale. They're selling it for, 900, 1,000, $5,000. I have one that is on sale right now for $4,997. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it, but it's a mistake that I made, and a mistake that I always tell my clients not to make. And that's my fault.
Mm.
So I always
Wow.
tell that story because it's real. It really does happen. It happened to me. I tell all my clients before I file the trademark, if it's something that, is short, I'll always say, get the trademark, get the domain name, get the domain name, get the domain name, get the domain name. And sometimes they'll do it. Sometimes they don't. And then they'll say, Christina, I tried to buy the domain name and it's saying it's for sale by this person. With me, I filed my trademark application, and I said, "Oh, I need to buy the domain name," but it just slipped my mind. I never did it. I should have done it before I filed the application, but I didn't. I was at work and I was like, "Oh, let me file this trademark application on my lunch break," and I did not buy the domain name. And 2 weeks later, I'm like, "Oh, I never bought the domain name," and I tried to go buy it and it was unavailable, and someone bought it 4 days after I filed my trademark application, and it was on sale for, I want to say, $997.
thousand
And I kept
dollars.
saying $1,000. So I was like, okay, all right. I was thinking, do I want to buy it? Do I not? Do I want to buy it? Do I not? Um, And eventually I said, I'm going to buy it. But then I just kept putting it off. My trademark got registered and the price went up to $5,000. I'm not buying it at $5,000. I would have paid 1,000 for it, but I'm not paying $5,000 for it. Um, and there are a lot of people that aren't going to pay for $1,000 or 5,000 or $500. They're just going to get a different domain name. They'll do .co instead of .com, which is what I ended up doing. Um, or they'll put a hyphen somewhere in the domain name in order for it to go through. But you just want to be really, really, really careful about that. Really, really, really careful and secure that domain name before I file the application, because what happens after that, I have no control over. It happened to me too. So it will happen. It can happen to anybody.
So let's say if a graphic designer and I'm paying a graphic designer for a logo
Hmm.
and for a logo, and when I pay the graphic designer, now I want to trademark this logo.
Hmm.
When I trademark this logo, it's denied because of if it's still the graphic designer's um domain. Do you know anything about that? I heard a story about that, but then I just wanted to know your input on that.
When you say the graphic designer's domain, what do you mean by that?
So it's still owned by the graphic designer, not the
It's still
person that bought
owned.
it. Yeah.
Okay, so it's still owned by the graphic designer. So sometimes, well, when it comes to filing a trademark application for a logo, I try to
Hmm.
ask who designed it, um, just so that if there's any paperwork that we need to do in order to transfer the ownership of the design to the owner of the business, that we're able to get that done. Now, the trademark office, they won't know who designed the logo. That's something that maybe, I don't know if the graphic designer maybe contacted the trademark office or something along those lines happened. But the trademark office, they're not looking to see like who designed this logo. They're just looking to see, is this logo similar to something else that we have on this website, on
Okay.
this database, I should say. And then they take it from there. So the only thing that I could think that maybe would happen is there was another logo that was similar and it was rejected for that reason.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Wow. I hope y'all get. I hope y'all getting a pen and pad for this.
I feel like I'm
Pen
talking so
pad.
I'm like, I don't know if they're keeping, I don't know if I can keep up with everything I'm saying. I feel kind of bad because
Get a
we're
pen
talking about
and
so
pad
many
for this.
things. We're talking about
Wow.
so many things.
Wow. So okay. So and how long did it take you to learn all of this while you're a lawyer?
It's still a learning process. I'm still learning, I'm still,
Mm.
so remember the applications take a while for processing. So I remember when my 2020 applications, and 2021 applications were coming through, I started learning from, okay, I can, when I'm doing this, I'll do it this way instead, or when I'm filing this, I'll do this. So this is what I should search for instead so that I can find this next time. You're always, always, always learning. And it's also important to invest in educating yourself as well. So I take classes. I, work with coaches just so that as I am building, I am making sure that I am providing a good service to my people, to people that want to work with me. So I am, the classes, the lawyers that teach these trademark classes are expensive, but but it is, they are, and I understand why. It is an investment, and it is
Mm.
an investment in you growing your business, in you growing your knowledge in this particular area. And they have it. They worked hard to get it. So of course, you listen. They should be compensated for their time and for their expertise in teaching other people what they know and how to properly protect brands. So I'm always learning, I'm always taking courses, I'm always asking questions of mentors and bouncing ideas off of them. Because if you decide today that you're done learning and that's it, you've learned everything and you're perfect and you can't make any mistakes, that's the first mistake that you make. Um, you have to
Say
always
that again.
understand that
Say
I don't
that
even know
again.
if I remember what I said. No, what I
Say that
said
again.
was when you the day the day you say to yourself that you're perfect, you know everything that you need to know about whatever it is, whatever subject it is, whether you're a hairstylist, a lawyer, a doctor, a teacher, whatever it is that you are, whether you're an entrepreneur, you say that you're done learning, you've learned everything that you could know. That's the day that you fail yourself. And that's the day that you fail yourself.
This
That's the
episode is
first
over.
mistake. That's
This
the
episode is
biggest
over. I'm
mistake.
out.
That's the biggest mistake that you can make.
That was the
That's the
whole
biggest
ball.
mistake that you can make.
Woo,
You
that's
should
a
always
ball.
be learning, always be growing, always evolving, always listening to people that have more experience than you or people that have less experience from you. They might see something differently from how you see it because they're just coming into whatever line of business that it is. Um, so don't make that mistake. Always learn, always invest in yourself, because when you invest in yourself, you bring more to yourself as well. When you invest in yourself, you make more money. When you hold all the money, you're not going to make anything. You have to spend it to
Mm,
make it. So um
mm,
I certainly invest in myself. You invest time, you invest money, and that's how you grow. That's how you become successful. Wake up early. Don't be on say because you're on your own boss and wake up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon thinking you're gonna start your day. Um,
that's
but
right.
yeah, that's I said a lot of things just now,
Uh,
but those are things
yeah, let's
that
go.
I truly believe, and I think that could be helpful to a lot of people, not just lawyers, but to anybody that is trying to do anything.
So last thing about trademark and USPTO and everything. So
Yeah,
I want to be able to share my screen to help people out if that's okay. So I want to be
let's
able
do it.
to let's look up like a trademark um like let's say if I want to like mark something. Let's go. Do you see my
Yeah, let's
screen?
do it. Yeah, I can see
Okay.
it.
Okay, so the
I see the
United
screen.
States Patent and Trademark Office. Okay, so now
Yes.
is this the official website? That's the question.
That is the official website. That's the main, the home screen, the homepage, I should say, for the USPTO.
Okay, now for trademarks, like what am I looking for? Like where am I going for? Like let's say if I want a name or something, where do I go?
You can click on, you see where it says trademarks next to patents? You can
Yes,
highlight there, and then there is one that says searching trademarks under the application process. Yeah, right there.
searching trademarks. Okay,
Hmm.
so now I'm here. Search trademark database. Now where am I going?
You can click on search our database tests.
Okay,
All right. Now, the easiest way to search is by clicking that basic word mark search, which is the first option right there. There are two other options there just so that I can go over it real quick. One
okay. Let
is
me go back.
the word design, mark search, and that you can you can search also using the serial number under that option, or search other things that um like we can click on it really quickly just so that I can
Okay.
show everyone what that looks
Where
like.
so
The
the
second one,
basic the second one,
the
this
second
one.
one, word and or design mark search right below.
Okay.
Okay. So if you type something in the search term to the right, you'll see it says field. So if you're looking for something that's owned by a particular person and you're not sure how to search it, you can type the person's name and then you can click owner name. If you want to search all applications filed by a particular attorney, you can type the attorney's name and then click attorney
Wow.
name. If you're looking for a particular serial number, you can type that and then hit serial number. If you want it to search in all fields, then it'll search in all fields. But that pretty much filing date. If you want to look for applications filed on a particular date, you have that there. Cancellation date, description of the mark, the goods and services, a class. And that way you can kind of build I don't know if anyone is familiar with like Boolean logic and all that stuff, where you can add multiple things there. You can have maybe you want to search for the word diamond, and then you want to search for it in only in class. So you can do diamond, and then you can do field. Let's do let's see, what do I want to do? I want to do mark. We can do full mark.
Full mark. Okay.
Yeah. And then you see where it says or on the right side?
Yes.
We can change that to and.
What's the difference with the operator? What's the difference with these?
So you see how you have there's two boxes?
Yes.
One box. So it's either going to be this or the bottom, or you can have it be this and the bottom. Okay. So we're going to make it and then you can say, let's do goods and services. And let's type clothing.
For the second one. Oops.
Let's type shirts. Type shirt. Yeah, type shirts instead.
For the second one? For this one.
Type shirt. Yeah, and then type goods and services and put goods and services in that other box.
For the field.
And you can hit for the field, and then you can hit search.
Search. Okay.
Or submit, excuse me, submit query at the bottom.
Okay.
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 So it tells you anything that this shows you anything that has the full mark name of diamond, and they have shirts in their class description. So this is everything that comes up. So I know that one's a little more, involved than doing a basic search, but I wanted to also show this as well so that we can see that there are ways that we can look at things if we want to narrow things down.
Gotcha. Yeah, we're going to need a Cash App after this. We're going to need a Zola Cash App after this. Definitely. Okay. So what are we doing?
But we can go back.
Okay, so I'm going back.
You can hit test home at the top. Right there. Yeah, you can click that. We can go to basic word mark search.
Okay.
And this is where you can just type whatever it is that you need to type. Here, you're also able to look and see if you can select if you only want to see live marks, which are marks that are actually active, dead marks, marks that are not active or that are canceled or that were abandoned, or both live and dead, so that you can see everything that is out there. There's also a box for plural or singular. I never uncheck that. I just leave the plural and singular together, because whether it's plural or singular, it's the same thing essentially. So you can type anything in there and you'll be able to find whatever trademark that is pending, whatever trademark is real. And you'll be able to see what's out there that's the same, similar, close. If you type free and Friday, you'll be able to.
Is there any spaces? Free Friday? Or...
Yeah. You don't have to type and, just type Friday. Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Query. I'm sorry.
Submit query. Submit query. So these are all of the marks that have the word free and Friday in it. There are a few here. Mine is the third one there, Free Game Fridays. That's my trademark. um, but
Wait, which one? Which one?
Free Game Fridays, it's probably I think it's the third one.
This, this
Yeah,
one.
that's mine. Yeah, that's mine.
Okay.
See that registration number is registered.
Is it
So
okay
that's
if we click
mine.
onto it?
Yeah, it's public. It's fine.
Okay.
So this is one of
Boom.
mine. Um, and it's just me. It's something that I use to educate on trademarks, small business tips, LLCs, contract drafting, trademarks, copyrights, getting new clients, things like that. Um, so that's an application that I have that I actually filed. And you can see there are other applications that have free and Friday, but maybe they all have different services. So that's why they're all able to coexist. Um, so yeah, it's really easy to use this database to look and see what's out there. At least, even if you aren't working with an attorney to file your application, um, you can at least check here to see what it is that is out there, who has what. You might search something on the trademark office's website and see that someone has exactly your brand name. And at that point, you don't need me to tell you, or you don't need me to do a search, because I'm just going to type exactly what you told me you want to be your trademark. And I'm going to find something the first search.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
this is something that every entrepreneur, every brand owner, every influencer, every artist that wants to protect a brand, this is something that you can do, and you can do easily. Take your brand
Mm,
name, whatever it is, and just type it here. And if you get a direct hit, then you know. Of course, when you work with an attorney, we're doing a more in-depth search. There are other intricacies, but at least you'll know that
mm.
there's a direct match. For my mark, it's identical. And I may
Let's
need to rethink what I'm doing. So
so hold on.
that's good.
Okay,
That's
that's
important.
that's
And it's here. It's here. You can do it. The website is there for you. It's public. You don't need to pay to use this website. You just type whatever you want to type. Oh yeah, I'm about to get that one up.
She did this,
Let's
everyone. This
see.
is straight. That's her. You see it. You see it. This is she did this. I didn't do it. She did this.
We got
I
that
gotta
one
give
done.
credit where it's due. I gotta give credit where it's due.
We got that one done. And you see, we got the registration date.
Yes. Yes.
We got a
Boom.
registration date here. This is
Registration.
registered. This is our circle. This is not
Yes.
TM. This is our circle.
There
And
you
I want
go.
everybody to have our circle. I have yours. You know what? I think yours might be one of the ones I just got in the mail. 1 second.
Boom.
I might just open it up right here
Hold on.
to
So
show you the official one.
wait. I'm still sharing my screen. Do you want me to stop sharing
No,
my
you're
screen?
good. Keep sharing your
That's it.
screen,
All
because
right.
I gotta look for it to see if it actually came
Okay.
in, because I got a few of these, and I don't know if I got anyone from March yet. I know I
Righty.
have
All
some
right. Let me stop.
February
I'm
here.
sharing my
Oh
screen. Boom.
no,
There we go.
I don't have it. I don't have March yet.
No. Okay.
Yeah, I don't have March. Oh, that would have been cool if I had it. But I got a bunch of other ones. I got a bunch of other ones. But yeah, I mean, the trademark office website is very, very, very easy, and there's no excuse not to use it as an entrepreneur. You can go there and see everything that you need to see. Play with it, see what's out there, see what's registered, see what's not registered. Look at the descriptions, just see what's out there, so that you know if you're wasting your time building a brand using this particular name. If it's early
Mm,
enough, you can just change it. Talk to your friends, talk to your cousin, talk to whoever you need to talk to, and come up with a new name, and then go back to the website and check it again. Um,
mm.
and then work with someone in order to file the application so that you make sure it's done correctly. Um, I wanted to get into a question that I get a lot, and that is, what if I use LegalZoom or something else in order to file my trademark application? So, there are a lot of companies out there that a lot of them have ads too. I see them on Instagram all the time. Um, they advertise that they do file trademarks. Now, trademark filing is, making sure the application is filled out correctly is not easy. You want to make sure you check the right boxes, you're not checking the wrong things off, etc. Um, when it comes to using those the document preparation companies, they don't necessarily analyze what you're putting into the application. Me, when I work with clients, they don't see an application because they're paying me in order for me to take that headache away from them. So I'm not saying like, hey, should I check this box off? Should I put this? You tell me the information. I know that your application is in use or it's not in use. I know what description we're using. I know if we're submitting proof, if we're not submitting proof. I know what we're doing. So I don't need to send you anything and, give you any stress. When it comes to the doc prep services, they're collecting the information from you, and whatever you give them, whether it's correct or incorrect, that same exact information, they put it into the application. So if you fill out their form incorrectly, then the trademark application will also be filled out incorrectly. So it's really important to make sure that what I tell people, if you're going to use one of those companies to do the application, just file it yourself. Save the money that you were going to pay them and file it on your own. Because whatever information you tell them, the description that you give them, sometimes you see descriptions that are crazy. I'm going to start saving them as I come across them. It's like, you might see things like, I sell t-shirts that have this brand on them on a website. Like, and that's not a description for the trademark website. You might see things where they ask you for your name or your company name, but people will put their name and then they'll say it's an LLC. So then the trademark office will reject it and say, like, is this an individual or is this an LLC? And people will lose their application because they don't know how to fix it, and they lose whatever, so it's like little things like that are why I always say, if you're going to use one of those companies, file it yourself instead, because those mistakes, they're only there. They can't tell you how to fill the application out. They can only prepare the application for you. So might as well just file it yourself. Might as well just file it yourself. I also wanted to talk about, well, I don't know if you have any questions about that before I go into
I'm
something
done.
else.
Keep going. This is your show.
Okay, cool.
Keep going. Keep going. I'm done with questions. You good. This is your
I
show.
wanted to,
By the way, what's your
all
cash app? I'm serious. What's your
right. We'll do that at the end. Don't worry.
Nah, the information that you brought out, it gotta be premium at this point. It's premium. We gotta send some funds over now. This is free game. Right?
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's ESQ Chris. So ESQCHRIS. Thank you.
So as hold on, $ C
ESQ
ESQ
ESQCHRIS.
CHRIS.
Yes.
So $CESQ. Okay.
$ESQ
Uh-huh.
CHRIS. So the C in the beginning should be there.
Gotcha. Okay. Boom. All right. You're gonna put that in the when I edit this. Absolutely.
All right,
Let's
cool.
go.
No problem. Thank you. I appreciate that. I wanted to talk about the common mistakes on trademark applications that people that DIY the application make. Um, and one of them we just touched on. So they'll fill out saying, it'll say name and then they'll type their name. And the next box on the application says individual, LLC, etc. Then they'll check off LLC. So what happens there? I think the first box says owner name actually. So they'll type their own name and then it'll say individual, LLC, partnership, whatever. And they'll click LLC. So when the trademark attorney is reviewing the application, they're saying, hold up, I see a first name and last name. I don't see anything that says LLC. But then they checked off the LLC box. Is this an LLC? Or is this is this an LLC or is this an individual? And they'll issue what's called an office action. And that's just the trademark office saying, here's a problem. We found with your application. You have 3 months to fix it. If you don't fix it within 3 months, then your application will be abandoned. And when they get that, they don't know what to do with it. Um, and they ignore it. Or they think that the trademark office is saying that their application is getting rejected. So they don't do anything about it and the application is rejected. So that's something that is can be so simply fixed or could have been done properly when the application was filed, but it wasn't. And then ultimately in the end, the person may lose the application because they messed up. And it's something that is really, really, really simple. Another one is the description. Sometimes the trademark office will say this description, we need clarification on this. We need clarification on that. Do you mean this? Do you mean that? And applicants will ignore it. And when they ignore it, then the trademark office will just reject the or abandon that, consider the application to be abandoned. Disclaimers. Let's say, I know, disclaimers. Let's say I filed a trademark for Christine Restaurant, and I'm doing restaurant services, catering services, food, whatever. And I didn't do a disclaimer for the word restaurant. Then you will get an office action saying, we need you to disclaim the word restaurant. And if you ignore that, your application will get rejected. So it's small things that if you knew how to respond to the office action, you would be able to get your application through to registration. But because because you're looking at it and you're saying, oh, they rejected my application, you're not doing anything about it, you'll lose the application. And guess what? The next person is going to be able to come in and get the trademark. I did that for somebody. I was waiting. There was another application pending. And I was like, they filed it by themselves. And before, that was back when you had 6 months to respond. Starting in December, they shortened it to 3. So it was almost at 6 months. And I said, what do you want to do? Do you want to file the application? Because I know if we filed, this one's going to be a problem. But there's 1 month left for them to respond, and they haven't responded. So if they haven't responded in 5 months, I don't think they're going to respond. And they filed it on their own. They don't have a lawyer. So I don't think anything's going to really happen here. But what do you think? And the client was like, let's file. We filed. They never responded. Their application went dead and we got the registration. Because we know as attorneys, we look and we're like, oh, they filed it by themselves. They're probably not going to do anything. Because most of the time they see it and they think that their application is rejected and that they're not going to be able to have their application accepted or get their trademark registered. So those small mistakes, you can avoid them by working with someone who knows what they're doing instead of with a document preparation service or someone who files trademarks. Another one, the proof of use that you submit. It's like sometimes you get people filing for cups and cups and mugs, and then they'll file
Mm.
as their proof of use a T-shirt with the words on it. It's like this has nothing to do with the cups and the mugs. Or they have a clothing brand and they submit a picture of a T-shirt with the words on it. That's not proof that this is a T-shirt brand. You need a tag, you need something else, you need a website, you need something. Um,
Mm.
excuse me. So it's important to know that when you work with these document preparation services, whatever you send to them, they're just gonna upload. So if you send them the wrong proof, that's what they're going to upload. Another mistake, sometimes people file for things and they don't know what they filed for. I had someone
Make
who
sure
thought they
y'all
were
fund this. Make sure y'all fund her. I'm serious. Cash out every. I'm serious. Keep going. Keep going.
they have they have some people. I had a client who thought she was filing for her TV show, but she really filed it as a T-shirt. You know,
Mm.
you see stuff like that where it's like, no, I was filing for this. Wait, so I filed for that instead? I didn't realize that. You know what I mean? So it's really important. That's not the first time I've had a client tell me, "Hey, I thought I was filing for this. Wait, so this is not in my application? If I want this in my application, I have to file a new one?" Yes, you have to file a new one because once you file your application, you can only make it smaller. You can only limit what's in your application. You can take stuff out, but you cannot add things to your application. You cannot expand what your application is covering once you hit that submit to file that application. So,
Mm.
if you wanted to include, you were selling um, jackets, t-shirts, and jeans, and you wanted to add hoodies to it, you have to file a new application for hoodies. You can't just add hoodies to the application that's already pending. So that's another thing to keep in mind when you are working with companies and when you are trying to file a trademark application. And those are really the big mistakes that I see. Not identifying yourself properly, whether it's an LLC or an individual or something else. Um, not not having the correct description, not using a specimen or proof of use that is acceptable, not responding when the trademark office asks you for clarification on simple things. Those are some of the biggest mistakes, and those can all cause you to lose that application. And if you wanted a new application, you would have to refile. Now, the problem with that is
Mm.
in the meantime, like in the case with my client who we were waiting for the other application to kind of disappear. If that person tries to file an application now, they're back at the back of the line. So my application is now in their way because they didn't do what they had to do with their first application.
Wow. Mm.
They didn't do what they had to do. So now when they file, or if they decide to file again, they're going to get an office action saying that, hey, 2D refusal, which is confusingly similar refusal. They call it 2D, as in dog. And it's going to say that. It's going to list my client's registration and say, tell us why, even though this is a registered trademark, why should your trademark still be registered? They're not going to be able to say anything, and they'll just lose their application. So it's very, 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 very important when you get anything from the trademark office. First, make sure it's from the trademark office. So go to, if you can share your screen, I'll even show people how to look to see
Okay.
where they can look for any official correspondence from the trademark office.
Okay. Give me a second. Okay. It's okay. I'm on Google.
Okay.
What?
Just go to the USPTO website.
Okay. Okay. Boom.
All
Gotcha.
right. Search trademarks. All right. Hit that search trademark database button. All
Boom.
right. Basic word mark search, the first one. All right, type whatever you want to type.
Um.
Something will come up.
Okay. Like a business or just anything.
Anything you want. Anything you want.
Uh,
Oh, there's nothing on there. All right. Pick something
okay.
else.
You know that's a hand sanitizer brand too. That's crazy. Okay. Nike. Boom.
Okay. All right. So click on any one of those applications that you see there.
Okay. Boom. This one.
All right. All right, cool. Now you can click you see at the top, wonder what you can click on the top where it says TSDR. Below
TSD.
that, a little lower,
This
right
one.
next,
Okay.
yeah, right there. Click there. Click on TSDR. And when you click on TSDR, you can click on documents.
Okay.
And this is where you see everything. Anything that if the USPTO sent you something, it will be here. Now, this one, it doesn't look like any the USPTO sent them anything except for the notice of abandonment. But um, anything that the USPTO sends to you, especially if you filed the application on your own without help of an attorney, there are a lot of companies that will send you stuff by email. Okay.
Mm,
Um, anything that is from the USPTO will be here. People might send you stuff. I know people that have gotten stuff in the mail with stuff that looks like official seal, the official seal of the USPTO at the top. So it looks like it's from the USPTO. Check here first. Anything, anything that they send you, anything at all that they send you will be here. Let me see something.
that's
I'm just trying to look.
hold on. Now I'm about to look.
Yeah, you can
Hold
look. You can look
on.
at yours. You can look at
Hold
yours.
on. Let me. Now I'm about to search mines real quick.
Look at yours. I think we did get something. But anything that they send you will be
Okay.
right there in that TSDR. Now, you see, I think we talked earlier about the maintenance tab. That's where you see the dates where you can file everything that you need to
Gotcha.
file. All
Okay.
right. So you see there, everything that the USPTO sends will be on this page. See the
Mm,
notice of registration email? That's when they emailed us saying that the trademark was registered. It's there, it's public.
mm.
You click it, it'll open up and you'll see whatever it is that's there. See? Shows you the
Gotcha.
email because there are so many people out there that are doing things that are just not right and not nice and really trying to get money from people in ways that it's just not right, especially when you have small business owners that are really just trying to grow, they're trying to build their businesses, they're trying to do the right thing. And you have people sending them stuff like send me $2,400 right now in order to get your registration certificate. The registration certificate is right there.
Mm.
It's right there.
So that means if I get a like if I get a scam mail, I can just go here.
Yeah, you can go here and you'll
Okay.
look and see is it here? It's not here. All right. It's not real. They will send you stuff
Mm,
with the official seal on it. There are some people
mm.
that will say like, "Oh, this looks pixelated, so it's not that good. It's not a good scam." But some people actually believe it. It looks official. It's scary. Send this or
Wow.
else your trademark's going to be canceled or someone said this, someone did that. No. Always
Wow.
check. Always
So,
check. Always check.
so if I go to, let's go to, okay, free game Friday. Which
Mhm.
one was yours again? Wait, I think I did it wrong.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. You're good.
I'm good. Okay.
You're good. We just did free game Fridays this time instead of free Friday. That's why
This
that
one?
showed
Is
up.
it this one?
Yeah, that one's mine.
Okay. Now, same
Yep.
thing.
Yep. Same thing.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yep. And that's pretty much it. Everything that you need to be there is everything that comes from the USPTO and everything that I have filed is
Hmm.
on here. Every single thing. Everything. Everything.
Yeah, yeah, we
Always,
need. Yeah, yeah, we
always
need
check.
we need websites. We need a page where it says you know donate or pay this person for all that. Yes, that's what we need.
this is
Yeah.
this is for the community. This is for everybody. This is really for everybody. So I'm really just happy to be here so
Let's
that
go.
I'm able to share information with everybody. I'm gonna share with you the website, so maybe you can include it in your description for the scams.
Okay. No problem.
Um,
Yep.
and
Gotcha.
people can go there to see everything. And literally, if you go to that page at the bottom, they have
I'm gonna
every
I'm gonna
single
share it
scam.
again. I'm gonna share my screen
Yes,
again.
absolutely.
Oh, okay. So we're at the uspto.gov.
Hmm.
And we're at the where it says scam alert. Um, don't be fooled by the notes from private companies. Oh, and so this has all the information that we needed as far as like mails, and we have a
Yeah,
video here. Gotcha. Okay, and we
and
can read all of
all
this.
yep, and all the way at the bottom, you'll even see links to examples, and they'll tell you like this is a new one. We just found out about this one.
Yeah, so it's all I think you said about this one. WTR.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, but it's WTR, WTP, but these are the ones at the bottom are from outside of the US, and the ones right here in that section right there, they're all originating in the US. So these are the ones that we got.
WTP.
Yes. And you'll see all of them. You click on one and you'll see what the notice looks like. Click on anyone.
Okay. Anyone? All right.
Yeah, anyone. You click on it and it'll show you this is what you're going to get in the mail. Ignore it, throw it out. How much is this one for? Let me see. 400? 425? That's what it says.
425.
That's not bad. Some of them ask for 900.
Wait, what about this one? This one,
See, this is
how,
one. So this one says renewal. So this is probably one that you would get closer to like
gotcha.
4 years, five
Okay.
years. And you'll get that saying you need to renew your trademark um, in our database or whatever the case is.
I'm gonna go to
Let's see, click that one.
WTP because I know I got the
Yeah,
WT. Yep, this
that's
is
the
what I
one.
got
That's one you
in the
got.
mail. Yep. Wow. 1,100 and oh, that's
Imagine
crazy.
after having paid people getting this in the mail talking about they owe $1,400. They're like, "What you do with my money?" Trust me,
Wow.
it's crazy. It's very scary. It's very scary,
Okay.
especially when you invest in your business to get a trademark. Then you're getting mail saying you have to pay another $1,400.
Mm,
Nah, it's not right.
here you go.
But at least
There you
they
have it,
have
everyone.
somewhere to let them know
Um.
where or what to
Yes.
do. Mhm.
Yes. So my last questions are how what's your final thoughts on everything, and how can he find you on social media? Once again, website, how can they be a client, everything. And whatever you want to drop, just drop. Even if anything that we left in this conversation, just drop it. Yeah, we're done. Yeah, it's all you
Listen,
now.
I just want to I just want to thank you for having me on this podcast today on the DC Incentives podcast. I know we've been talking about doing this for a while, and I'm just really glad that we were able to schedule it and get it done. I had a really good time. I feel like I can talk all day about all of these things, and I feel like I spoke a lot. And I know there'll be a lot of rewinding, like, hold on, what did she just say? Let me rewind and write that down. But
That's a that
I
is facts.
really, I really appreciate just being able to be here today and share all of that information with you. So, thank you again for having me on this podcast on your platform and for sharing it with me. My name again is Christine Duchatelier, aka the Trademark Plug. I am on Instagram as Christine the Lawyer, Christine I can be reached on my Instagram page. I can be reached by email, Christine at duch-law.com. I work on trademarks mainly, but I also do LLCs, copyrights, um, corporations, nonprofits, and contract work. I am here for us and to help us protect the things that we need to protect. And when I say protect, I mean in all ways. So protect your brand with the trademark, protect your money with a contract, protect your limited liability with the LLC. Any way that we can protect you, we're going to protect you and we're going to make sure that we get that done. Um, I am on Instagram. You can drop a question in my DM if you have a question. And if I can answer it, I will answer that question. If you need help with anything, I am here to help. If you got something from the USPTO and you don't know what it is, send me a picture in my DMs. I have some people that do that. And I'm happy to help, happy to answer those questions as well. And that's pretty much it. I know we talked about a lot already. I don't want to overwhelm anyone because we did a lot today.
Let's go.
But
Okay.
protect your brands. It is very important. Protect your businesses, protect your brands. Um, Make sure that, I guess, final thoughts, protect your brands with the trademark. Make sure that if you are running a business, you have the proper contracts in place so that you are protected and your business is protected. You want to have things in there like how you get paid, what are your refund policies, what are you expected to do, what is not a part of your contract, and other things
Mm,
that are important to you. So protect your business by using contracts as well, even if you are working with a friend, even if you are working with someone that you know, or your cousin, or your mom, or whoever, have a contract in place because it's best to do the contract while everyone is happy and level headed. Because once there's an issue and you need to resolve a dispute and everyone's mad, people begin to like tell you about how they bought a pen and that they need to be compensated for a pen that costs like 5 cents. So just make sure you're always using those contracts, protect your content, things that you create with the copyright. So if you have a book that you wrote, if you have a script, if you have photos that you took, make sure that you are protecting those things with copyright so that if someone does steal it and sells it without your permission, you are able to go after them and sue them as far as the copyright infringement is concerned. Make sure you have that LLC so that you have the limited liability protection, that you are separating your business and your personal assets. And that's all I got.
I was going to say about suing, but that's going to be another topic. What you just said
But
about the whole trademark, and then once it's registered and someone's trying to take it, that's a whole nother conversation for another. Yeah,
oh yeah.
we're gonna have to bring her back, y'all. What y'all think? We're gonna have to bring you back.
Anytime, anytime. I'm happy. I'll be happy to come back anytime. I think that um, the next time we talk, we could talk about a more what I like to call like a holistic approach to protecting your business. So protecting your business from A to Z, everything that you need to do to protect it, how to implement those things. We'll go into contracts. We'll go into how when you have that trademark, now what? What can you do to
Let's
enforce
go.
it? We'll go into the copyright. What can you do to
Let's
enforce
go.
it? How do you maintain? How do you have the LLC? How do you make sure that you like benefit from the protections that you have, or how do you what kind of mistakes would cause you to jeopardize the limited liability company? So we'll get into all of that next time we
Let's
do
let's
a sit down.
let's go. We definitely coming back. We definitely coming back for this one. Let's go. Thank you so much for this. Thank you for the gem. Thank you
Of
for the
course.
information. And
Of course.
well, before we go, this is offline though, but I got to ask you one more question offline though.
Yeah.
But that's the
Yeah.
end of the episode, y'all. That's it. A lot of gems, pen, pad, cause paper remembers. Remember that. So DC and
Mm,
Senses
I like
podcast.
that.
That paper
I like that.
remembers.
Paper remembers. I like that.
I gotta trademark that. You know what? Yo, listen. I'm about to, I'm gonna hit you on Monday. Let's do this. Paper remembers. DC and Senses podcast. We are out of here.
Peace.
Um